He was born in Owari Province, in what is now Western Aichi Prefecture. His exact origins remain debated, farmer, foot soldier, or somewhere between the two. What is documented is that he entered the service of Oda Nobunaga, one of the most powerful warlords of the era. He began as a low-ranking attendant. He rose through the ranks over decades of conflict. Japan in the 16th century was not a unified country. It was a fractured landscape of competing warlords, each controlling their own domain. Nobunaga had begun the process of consolidation through military force and strategic alliances. Hideyoshi was part of that process, a capable commander who proved his value across multiple campaigns. He fought at the Battle of Okohazuyama in 1560. He fought at the Battle of Nagiashirno in 1575. He led sieges, managed logistics, and expanded Nobunaga's territory in the west. Then, in 1582, Nobunaga was killed by one of his own generals, Eikuchi Mitsuhide, in an incident known as the Honnoji Incident. Hideyoshi was far from the capital, engaged in a campaign in the west. He negotiated a ceasefire with his enemy and turned his forces around. His army covered several hundred miles in under 2 weeks. This movement is recorded in historical sources as the Chugoku Ogeshi, the Great Return from Chugoku. At the Battle of Yamazuaki, he defeated Akechi Mitsuhide. The speed of that decision, and the execution that followed, shaped everything that came after. Hideyoshi did not inherit power, he competed for it. At the Battle of Shizuji-Etaku in 1583, he defeated Shibata Katsui, one of the most senior figures in Nobunaga's former coalition. In 1584, he faced Takuji-Ewa Ieyasu at the Battle of Komaki and Nagiakutii. That conflict ended without a decisive military outcome. The two men eventually reached a political settlement. By 1585, Hideyoshi was appointed Kenpaku, the highest civil office in the imperial court system. No warrior of common birth had held that position before. In 1586, he received the surname Toyotomi from the imperial court and was appointed Grand Minister of State. He used the authority of the court not simply as a title, but as a framework for legitimizing his control over the country. Between 1582 and 1590, Hideyoshi conducted a series of military campaigns that extended central authority across the Japanese archipelago. He subdued Kii province in 1585. He brought Shirkeoku under central control in 1585. He completed the pacification of Kyushu in 1587. The siege of Odawara in 1590 brought the Go-Hojo clan to submission. These campaigns, taken together, ended over a century of decentralized warfare. The consolidation of territory was accompanied by a series of domestic policies. In 1588, Hideyoshi issued the Katanagari, the Sword Hunt Edict. Farmers and religious institutions were ordered to surrender their weapons. The practical effect was the systematic disarmament of the non-warrior population. The Taiko Kenchi, the cadastral survey, was conducted across the country. Land was measured, productivity was assessed, and taxation was standardized. In 1591, the Mibun Tozai Rei restricted movement between social classes. Warriors could not become farmers. Farmers could not become merchants. The boundaries between groups that had been fluid during the preceding century were formalized. The combined effect of these measures accelerated the separation of the warrior class from the agricultural population, a process historians refer to as Heino Bunri. In 1587, Hideyoshi issued the Bataran Suho Rei, the edict expelling Christian missionaries. The edict ordered foreign missionaries to leave Japan within 20 days. In 1597, 26 Christians, both foreign missionaries and Japanese converts, were executed in Nagasaki. The specific reasoning behind the timing of those executions continues to be examined by historians. In 1592, Hideyoshi launched a military invasion of the Korean peninsula, recorded in Japanese sources as the Bunroku no Eki. The stated objective, documented in correspondence from the period, included the eventual conquest of Ming China. The initial advance reached the northern regions of the peninsula. A combination of Korean naval resistance, Ming military intervention, and logistical difficulties halted the campaign. In 1597, a second invasion was launched, the Keicho no Eki. Hideyoshi died in 1598 before the campaign concluded. Following his death, Japanese forces withdrew from the peninsula. The invasions caused widespread destruction in Korea and remain a documented point of historical tension between Japan and Korea. Hideyoshi died in the 8th month of 1598 at Fushimi Castle. Before his death, he established a council of 5 senior lords, the Go-Tairo, to govern on behalf of his young son, Hideyoshi. Among those 5 was Tokugawa Ieyasu. Within 2 years of Hideyoshi's death, the coalition he had constructed collapsed. At the Battle of Seikijihare in 1600, Tokugawa Ieyasu defeated the forces loyal to the Toyotomi cause. In 1615, the Toyotomi clan was destroyed at the Siege of Osaka. The political order Hideyoshi had built did not outlast the generation that followed him. During his lifetime, he was recognized as the supreme political authority in Japan. In subsequent centuries, he was described as a figure of remarkable social mobility, as a unifier of a fractured country, and as the architect of policies that defined early modern Japanese society. The invasions of Korea introduced a dimension to his historical record that has been assessed differently across national and scholarly contexts. The policies he enacted, the land surveys, the disarmament edicts, the status restrictions, had consequences that extended well beyond his own lifetime. He rose from circumstances that, by the standards of his time, should have placed a ceiling on what he could become. He reached the highest offices available in the political structure of his era. He reshaped the physical and social landscape of Japan. He launched wars that extended beyond Japan's borders. He died with his succession unresolved. What he intended, what he believed, and how he understood his own place in history are questions the surviving record can only partially answer. Thank you for watching Legends Great Figures. Please subscribe to our channel and give us a like.